Hello and welcome. Today we'll show how D4E can be used to manage governance for high-risk UDAs in the enterprise. High-risk UDAs are Excel-based user-developed applications that create numbers used in critical business processes. For example, values posted to the general ledger or figures included in important management and CFO reports. Because these files directly influence financial reporting and decision making, they need to be governed carefully. The key question is simple: can we trust the result? To manage a high-risk UDA using D4E, the Excel files must meet a few conditions. First, they should be named using a defined manage format, such as manage report 1.xlsx. The name begins with #managed#. Second, D4E should be executed while the UDA file is being executed. In other words, the add-in must be active. Third, they should be stored and run from an approved location, such as an agreed SharePoint folder. When these conditions are met, D4E can monitor how the UDA is used and create an auditable trail of activity. Let's look at this through a simple example. In this scenario, we have 4 Excel UDAs. Each one extracts data from enterprise systems or databases, then performs calculations using formulas and parameters in the workbook, and produces a value that contributes either to a GL posting or to a summary report consumed by the CFO or leadership. In other words, these are not ordinary spreadsheets. They are high-risk operational files that support critical reporting. In an unmanaged situation, there are several possible failure points. A formula may drift because a cell or formula was changed unintentionally. A user may paste a large value manually instead of allowing the workbook to calculate it correctly. A file may run from the wrong folder or outside the agreed process. Or the process may rely too heavily on one individual with no clear evidence that the correct procedure was actually followed. All of these issues can reduce trust in the final CFO summary report. By using D4E, these high-risk UDAs can be brought under management. D4E logs important user and workbook actions for audit and review. This allows us to see whether the file was operated under the correct procedures and whether any unexpected or risky actions took place during the execution. Let's see that in a demonstration. Here we see again the 4 managed reports being opened and executed. This is one of them. As each report is used, log entries are written automatically. These logs capture evidence of how the file was run and whether it remained under control. For example, log lines can be written when formulas are changed, cell values are changed, unusually large values are pasted or entered, the file is opened from an approved or unapproved folder. The file is saved, a data action is executed, such as an extract from a source system into a staging or reporting table. Let's look at this in action. Here is the UDA, and for example, we are going to type a large number. We hit enter, and as you can see, a log has been created immediately, showing something like a cell change and something like a value threshold was reached. This creates a traceable record of execution. Once the reports have been completed, their outputs can be moved on to the next business step. For example, posting to the GL or contributing to a higher level CFO summary report. At this point, we can review the logs to determine whether the results should be trusted before they are used downstream. Let's now look at the resulting log report. This is a sample of the log report that has been extracted. And here is a simple pivot of that extracted data. Here the logs are rolled up into a monitoring view, which also acts as a managed UDA register. We can see, for example, that report 1 was executed from the correct approved location. The expected data action took place and no unexpected changes or suspicious actions were detected. If there were, we can drill down and investigate. That gives us confidence that the output of report 1 can be trusted. Now, consider the opposite case. If we do not even see evidence that report 1 was executed at all, and yet its numbers appear in a CFO summary report, that is a red flag. It may suggest that the summary report is not current, or worse, that the number was inserted manually without following the approved process. Likewise, if the logs show formula changes, cell overrides, or unusual pasted values, then the result may require investigation before it is relied upon. This is where D4E adds governance value. It does not just help identify the spreadsheet, it helps prove whether the spreadsheet was used correctly. To summarize, using D4E, we can capture key interactions with a managed high-risk UDA. We can confirm that the file was run from the correct location with the proper add-in active under the expected procedure. We can detect drift, overrides, and other actions that may affect trust. And as a result, we can provide stronger assurance that the numbers flowing into the GL or into executive reports were created under controlled conditions. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.